These are the top 10 hardest maps to get round 100 in Call of Duty Zombies. And yes, I'm still a little stuffed up. But before we get into this video, if you guys could hit that sub button, it's the easiest way to help me out and it's the easiest way to support me. So if you could do that, our goal is 1k subs. Let's get right into the video. At our number 10 spot, we're actually going to have Grodd Krovi. And this might actually surprise some of you guys, but if you're just learning how to get around 100, Grodd Krovi is not an easy map at all. You have to do the Easter egg in I think it's 90 minutes to get unlimited perks, basically. Well, it's not unlimited perks. You get all the perks and then you get unlimited quick revives. But the high round itself is not easy. The Mark III stops killing at round 50. It basically just says, nah, I'm good. And then you have to use the shield the rest of the game. Now, you can do Deadwire and Turned, and you can do AATs instead of doing shield. But that takes so much longer and honestly is way more dangerous. And you have to use the Mark III as a basically safety weapon just to even get the shield back. Not to mention there's a high chance that one of the electrical testicles or the jack-off Jerry that comes near you to kill you is going to kill you before you even get to that point. Because if they get in your way, you can't get around them. They are absolutely tanks. And while you might say, you know, you have the unlimited quick revives, whatever. I mean, yeah, you have unlimited quick revives, but what happens when you go down and you don't have a gobblegum to get out? And if you're not using megas on this map, the Easter egg can be a pain in the ass to do. It's just overall not a fun high round. The number 9 spot, this is going to surprise some people, but it's BO2 Origins. Now, BO2 Origins is a map that is very hit or miss. It's decently easy because of the staffs, but it's hard because you can get completely shafted on RNG. I've had so many attempts on this map where I just cannot get ammo in the late 80s, 90s to the point where I can't get around 100. You have the Ice Staff and the Shield, which are very good combination, but then you also have G-Strikes, which are very helpful, but the G-Strikes can only kill for a couple rounds. They don't kill later in the game. Plus, if you're getting completely low on ammo, you basically just have to pray for a max ammo unless you build another staff. Even then, some of the staffs are not that great for high rounding. The Wind Staff is your best bet, and even then, that has very little ammo. So at the end of the day, this map is not an easy round 100. And you also have the 2-hit system when you start. So if you're, again, I'm going off this list on learning around 100. Origins is just not an easy map to learn. At the number 8 spot, we have Black Ops 1 Moon. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything about Moon, because I don't overly know that much. What I do know is that with the amount of trading you have to do on this map, it can be absolute pain in the ass. The wave gun on BO1 and BO3 do not give drops, but the difference is BO3 you have AATs, and that just makes your life so much easier. With BO1, if you don't get a drop with any of your Gershes, you have to do a trade, and the map's slower as well, which is another thing. You have to hack the box so it stays in the spawn room, and then if your wave gun runs out of ammo, you have to trade for that. If your Gershes run out, you have to trade for your Gershes. There is just so many things that can go wrong for you when doing a high round on this map that it's actually just not enjoyable. In my opinion, it's not an enjoyable high round. It's hard. It's very worth it if you get to around 100, but at the end of the day, it's just not fun. At the number 7 spot, we have Transit. Not only is the map awful, the high round on it is even worse. The spot you have to train is in the fog. So if you run 3 centimeters out, you get hit by a denizen. The jet gun is so bad it breaks when you use it that you have to use a glitch to even use it. Even when meleeing with the Galvanuckles and using the jet gun, it can only kill 3, 4, 5 zombies at max. So you're only killing a 6 of the horde at a time, leading to this. This is the same strategy you use all the time, the one I'm showing on screen. It's not a fun strategy. It's slow. It's very boring. And I find it hard just because the jet gun is so awful. The jet gun genuinely makes this map horrible. And not only is the jet gun bad, the pack-a-punch system is bad. The jet gun is the only thing besides the bus that can kill zombies on a high round, which is really annoying. You have the denizens in the fog, obviously, you can't really see stuff, and it's just slow. So you probably will lose a little bit of your mind playing this map. And to the number 6 spot, we have ShangriLa. Now, ShangriLa is a hard map on BO1 and BO3, but personally, I think BO3 is harder. The baby gun sucks in this version. It does. It sucks. The zombies, AI, they hit faster on this version, and it feels like the walkways are genuinely shorter. So you're gonna get hit more, especially if you're in the upside of the area versus down here where I'm at. And not only is the baby gun awful, you have 1, maybe 2 spots to train. You don't have to do trades, luckily, but there definitely is a reason why people have not been able to 255 this map, and that's because it is hard. Getting round 100 on this map is an absolute pain in the ass. This was the only map for the longest time that I did not have a 100 on, and that was just because of the fact on how difficult it was, because the baby gun is horrible. Yes, there's a certain strategy you can run with the waterfall, and yes, there's ways you can manipulate spawns and all that, yada yada yada, but at the end of the day, if you don't know what you're doing and you try to 100 this map, it's extremely difficult. At the number 5 spot, we have Black Ops 1 Nocturne Toten. Now, BO1 Noct, not only is it slow, it's so hard. It's by far the hardest version of Noct out there. You don't have gobblegums for more ammo. You can only do box trades with the thunder gun, because that's the only thing that's going to get you kills. You have meal kick, which, you know, allows you to take one more weapon out of the box to get a thunder gun quicker. But if your box trades are bad, you are not getting a 100 on this map. It is going to take you way too long. And with how boring this map gets after a while, it's honestly just more of an endurance test to see if you'll get a 100. Like, I genuinely don't see the appeal in even attempting a 100 on this map, just because on how brutally slow it is and just how unenjoyable it is. Genuinely, what makes it hard is honestly just the amount of time it takes to get to 100. At the number 4 spot, we have 5. You guys don't understand how tempted I was to put 5 at 5 just for that joke. It's not funny, but I really wanted to. Anyways, we all know how hard 5 is. I mean, it's a hard map. There's no doubt about it. There's not a lot of space to train. You have to be very good at the top area of the map if you want to get 100. Setting barriers with the elevator is not fun. You need the 2 barriers that are closest to the Olympia wall by closed, and you do that by setting elevators by riding it, and trying to figure out which windows are set are just not fun. Pentagon Thief is easy to deal with, but I mean, like, the actual running of the trap strats are not easy, dude. They're not easy at all. I suck at 5, and truthfully, I don't think I'll ever be good at 5, and that's just because of how hard of a map it is. The worst part about it is when the zombies aren't fast enough, and if you try to run trap strat early, it's just not gonna work. Trying to also keep your points maximized so you can actually keep turning on the traps is very hard to do. And I mean, even if you get trapped with the crossbow is not always gonna save you. So in short, hard training, hard strategy, not a lot of stuff to kill with. 5's a hard map. At the number 3 spot, we have World at War Doris. This map is so buggy to the point of it's incredibly difficult, or the triple trap, whatever you want to run, whatever the safest option is, it's still hard. Zombies can drag you in from a football field length away. The dogs are just absolute tanks to the point where you actually need to buy the Bowie knife to deal with them. The Wunderwaffe takes away your jug, so you have to be extremely careful with that. And the Wunderwaffe's also the only other thing that's gonna kill. So it's kind of like playing a really risky game. Also, this map takes forever to get to 100 on. It's very slow map. You do get dog rounds every 5 rounds, which is nice, and this is the only World at War map that has more than 24 zombies per round, and it's also probably the glitchiest zombies map of all time, which is why it's our number 3 spot. At the number 2 spot, it's going to be Black Ops 3 Shinonuma. Now, this version of Shinonuma is the hardest, no doubt. Black Ops 1 is close, but I think this is definitely the hardest version of Shinonuma. The mud is atrocious. It's by far the worst version of the mud we've seen. It's very slow. The zombies are Usain Bolt in the mud. So if you get caught in it, there's a very high chance that you'll not be escaping. The strategy you run is very boring, and I'm not gonna lie, it's decently difficult, especially with proning at the flogger, just due to the fact that the zombies can come from behind you and push you, they can come from in front of you and push you. There's just like 9 different ways you can die alone proning at the flogger. And then also, not to mention, training in that little room, making sure you're not wasting all your Wunderwaffe ammo in there is crucial. And there's just nothing really enjoyable about this high round, which a lot of these high rounds, boredom is actually what's the hardest part about it, but there's just also some maps that are ridiculously hard, and I think Shinonuma fits both of those categories pretty well. And at the number 1 spot, can I get a drum roll please? That's right, the #1 spot belongs to Black Ops 1 Verrucht. There's nothing easy about this map. The winner's howl is absolutely awful. The ray gun can only get you about, I'd say 40 to 50 rounds if you're good enough. Then you have to run trap strats, which you can either run dat strat or double trap. Whichever one you feel like doing that day is the one you're going to be doing. Neither of them are really that safe, and both strategies, again, very hard. As far as I'm aware, there hasn't been a game that's gotten to 100 using dat strat only. Could be wrong. I haven't really kept up with the Black Ops 1 community in a while, but dat strat is really hard, especially to keep consistent. Double trap strat is probably the safer strat, but it also takes longer. And there's just no good killing weapons on this map. The fact that you have to use the traps in these small areas are just not easy. You're gonna get red screened a lot. You're gonna get just trapped a lot. This map is very ruthless and unforgiving. But that's gonna do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like, hit a sub, play the outro. With a blunt, Juliet with a bottle, live like Jackie.